Hi everyone, it's Katie Romshak here again today, and the strategy that I want to speak to all of you guys this week has to do with storytelling. I'm sure you guys know all about storytelling. It's nothing new to any of us in our everyday life. Growing up, my mom would tell me stories. Oftentimes they had something to do with, an overall message of things, how to act, how to react, how to take on situations in life. You can think about the classic stories growing up, the nursery rhymes, the sing-song, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we all know that the backing of a story is not just to entertain us, but to supply with us a type of emotion, invoke an emotion, and supply us with the opportunity to learn. Oftentimes in classroom settings, we can incorporate messages using stories that sometimes they resonate more so with our learners. I know personally I use my storytelling in classes, especially the ones that have to do with individuals who are mandated by courts to attend, are seeking additional support or guidance. Different examples of that has to do with my court-mandated driving courses for young adults and my other adults. I have two separate courses for that. And my divorce classes. Basically, that is helping children cope with divorce. And a lot of stories and simulations and scenarios are discussed during those classes. One, because in those situations, I find that the learners really get a response, really give me back a response of unity and camaraderie if they put themselves in that position, or you as the educator allow them a chance to kind of get a little more into your head, supplying a personal background story. I remember when I did this, A, B, and C, versus just something out of the textbook that you would learn. In a way, it kind of personifies us as the educator, and it really embodies the lesson that we're trying to give. We're trying to get the learners to understand, well, how can we do that? Well, we supply a subject, we supply a story that puts them in the shoes, that puts yourself in the shoes of another person. So my counterpart and I, we have decided that the best maneuver for this situation is to supply a PowerPoint that gives a little more in depth about what storytelling is. If you want to follow along, it starts on page 101 in the book that we were directed to use, and I'll show it to you right here, which I'm sure you all have. Okay, so sit and get. And on top of that, we also supplied additional videos, testimonies, and examples. So I know that the example that I'm going to provide for you within the PowerPoint is actually an excerpt of a class that I was asked to help facilitate a few years back. I, as the primary speaker, was speaking on behalf of several educators for this. It's called Car Teens, so it kind of mirrors what my adult class for driving has to do with. Basically, these juvenile offenders, which I hate using that term because really they're just kids, first-time offenders on the road, are asked to participate in a one-time course. When I was asked to step in and teach a little bit and incorporate some of my own curriculum into that one-time course, I did ask for the adults to be present during that time, which is common with a lot of the Car Teens programs, not all, but some. And I provided a story that was actually told to me one of the first times that I taught a class similar to that. It's perfectly acceptable to tell a story, even if it's not necessarily your own, if it's something that someone told you, and of course you would want to get the okay, or, but if it's something that has resonated with you, to be able to apply that to your own curriculum can be just as justified and just as validated as if the thing happened to you in the first place. And this is a situation that, the example that I will provide to you. So that's my view on storytelling. I do incorporate a lot into the courses that I teach. I find that in appropriate settings, it really does get the job done, and it really does allow the students to see myself as the educator in a more personified light, and it really allows them that opportunity to have that aha moment, like, oh, that's a personal connection that I can have because that story is similar with my own. So I think that throughout this week, if our discussions allow, if you want to, share your experience, talk about, when you use storytelling, I would love to hear about it, and we can go from there. So thank you guys.